Get social with us at Trans Radio UK on Twitter and Facebook. This is transradio.co.uk.
Classic old football tune for you, celebrating the victory tonight. Now, lots of you have heard of Transliving magazine support group, and they also have events. Been going for 38 years, I do believe. Shane has been involved with at least the last 20, and we've got him online. So hi, Shane.
Hi, Lucy.
How are you?
Yeah, good, thank you. Yourself?
Yeah, very well. So I believe you just caught the end of the football, so you saw the winning goal. So perhaps our lucky charm, you might watch the whole of the next game, and we might win more comfortably.
Yeah, I just tuned in towards the end. I mean, I don't generally follow football, really any sort of sport, really. Yeah, so I knew that we were talking at the end, and I knew that it was probably going to go into extra time, so I put it on just to sort of watch the countdown, as it were.
Oh, well, lucky charm, lucky charm. So, Transliving's been going for 38 years. You've been involved here for the last 20. Do you want to tell us
Yes.
a bit of history about the magazine, etc.?
Yes, I mean, originally the support group was called Trans Essex, and it was set up in 1980 by a guy called Gordon, predominantly an Essex-based support group for the people living in Essex. After about 18 months, 2 years, Gordon decided he didn't want to be involved anymore, and then that was when my colleague, Stacey Novak, who actually is the group leader of the group, decided that she'd take it on, and it continued for some time, and then it got so big and popular that people got the assumption that unless you lived in Essex, then you couldn't be a part of the group. So it was then decided to change the name to Transliving International to reflect the international interest that the group was getting, and also to open the doors to anyone and everyone, really. It was never actually originally intended to only aim at the Essex area. I think it was just the name Trans Essex gave people that impression. And of course, once Stacey took it on, the magazine and everything was developed, and it went on open sale. And everything else, and it just carried on evolving right up to what we have today, and now being available on all app stores and digital, and obviously the new relaunched format of the latest issue, which was released last week.
Well, yeah, I believe we're up to issue 60 now, which is absolutely amazing.
Yeah, I mean, issue 60 of Transliving, but the magazine, Transliving has produced magazines in all of its sort of years. I mean, the magazine's been called various other things. I mean, we used to have a magazine called Trans Life, and then once, of course, the business Trans Life, based in the Brighton area, was launched, it caused a lot of confusion with people calling us thinking they were calling Trans Life, and I'm sure Sophie at Trans Life had people calling her thinking they were calling us the magazine. So we decided, to call the name, change the name to Transliving, because the group was called Transliving, and we just thought bring everything in line, and the magazine called the same. And prior to Trans Life, the magazine was called Reflections International. So, I mean, there are actually more than 60 issues. It's just that it's been done under different names.
Right, okay, I was unaware of that. So you got involved yourself 20 years ago?
Yes, I did.
How did you end up getting involved with that, and what's your involvement nowadays in it?
Originally, I met a guy who at the time was claiming asylum over here. It was before all the EU laws and everything had changed. He was from Lithuania, and Transliving actually helped get him over here, because at the time he was very confused about his gender. And once getting him, and obviously was in fear of his life. I mean, I'm talking about mid-90s when things were very different. And once he come over here and sort of, met some people and was able to live his life, he then sort of realised, in actual fact, he wasn't really confused about his gender. He actually identified as an effeminate sort of gay guy. And I sort of met him at a gay bar, and we become good friends. And he told me a story about, Transliving, getting over and all that. And unfortunately, he lost his case and he was deported back home. And at the time, when he was deported back home, he asked me if I would sort of step in and take over his voluntary role that he had with Transliving at the time, being their membership secretary. he said, you've only got to go in sort of 3-4 hours a week. So I thought, yeah, I get it, support the cause and everything. And I had a couple of trans friends, and I realised, how sort of difficult things were for a lot of people back then. And so as I say, and the rest is history really. I got involved, and from then on, I ended up getting involved with the magazine behind the scenes initially, and because the whole group and the whole setup is entirely run by volunteers, myself and Stacey included. Unfortunately, people volunteer and then now they get bored, they're fed up, they sort of, don't tend to stick around for very long. So after various people coming and going and not wanting to be involved with the magazine anymore because realising how time consuming it was, I got more and more involved. And then when one of our previous editors decided that she couldn't cope anymore with her full-time job and being involved with the magazine, I then decided that I'd give it a try. I took it on issue 28, 32 issues on. I'm still here, so I must be doing something right. And I didn't from the beginning ever think that I'd, be still doing it this amount of time down the line. But it's something I really enjoy, something I'm very passionate about. And it is quite demanding and very time consuming, especially now with 4 times a year, quarterly. Effectively, I have to get a magazine on the shelf every 13 weeks.
Yeah, no, of course, I can imagine. The time that actually goes into it. I myself have seen many publications of it. I think it's a fabulous magazine.
Thank you.
Obviously, there's going to be people out there that haven't seen the magazine. So, do you want to tell them, the kind of stuff that they can find in the magazine and how they can get involved, etc.?
Yes, absolutely. The magazine, as we've recently branded from the last issue, and there's so many labels, and who wants labels anyway? They're so last century. The whole magazine is about celebrating gender and diversity, wherever you feel that you're fitting on the trans spectrum, whatever label you feel that you want to give yourself. Anyone could be a part of the magazine. We have event reports, beauty features, makeup, fashion, readers, personal life, real life stories, photo shoots, anything really of interest to the trans scene. But most importantly, for a lot of people, we have a big scene guide at the back. And a lot of people find that's their sort of Bible when they're first starting out, because it tells them what's on, who's what, who's who, and, where to go and all the rest of it. So, the magazine is fun. It treats the whole transgender spectrum seriously. It's about being positive, not being ashamed of who or what we are. But above all, I think it's, about giving a lifeline for people that need it and for letting society know that, trans people are here. They're in all walks of life, all, shapes and sizes, and they're not going anywhere. And times are continuing to change, and, hopefully the magazine can continue to, help things move in the right direction for the trans community.
Yeah, no, brilliant. That's it. As I say, I think the magazine's excellent, and I'm a subscriber myself. Obviously, people out there are going to be wanting to know how they can actually get their hands on a copy. So, do you want to tell us how people can actually get hold of it?
Absolutely. Unfortunately, although times are changing for the trans community, we can only still get the printed format distributed through adult stores. I have had recent discussions with some big leading distribution chains that supply magazines to mainstream outlets such as Menzies, Tesco, Sainsbury's and all the rest of it, where you find your Woman's Weekly, Gay Times, Diva, Attitude and all the other gay titles. Unfortunately, they declined Transliving purely because of the trans theme. Not because they think it's pornographic in any way, shape or form. They just don't feel that trans-related magazines are suitable to be on display where maybe minors could pick them up. Yeah. So you can get the printed format from most adult stores, most trans-related businesses such as dressing services, makeover studios and things like that. And you can also get it direct from Transliving on the website. If you can't receive mail for whatever reason and you can't find it in your local shop, then you can always ask your local shop to order it in direct from us, and we can send it to the shop for you to then obviously arrange to pick it up from. Otherwise, if you're quite technical, it is available in digital. You can get it from all app stores, whether you're on Apple, Google Play for Android, the Kindle, Fire for Amazon. It's available. Just put Transliving in your app store search engine, and you can download the free app, and then you can subscribe through the app to the magazine, or you can just buy individual issues.
Right, excellent. Well, I personally think it's great that people can get it. There is various ways that they can get it. Obviously, we'd like the more opportunities for people to get it, especially, potentially young people might want to, it'd be a good information source for them. So,
Well, it is. I mean, with not really any sort of trans magazines around now that are particularly lifestyle like ours, and I think we are really the last one standing on open sale. There isn't really anywhere. I mean, obviously you've got the internet, but then the internet can also be a dangerous thing. People can do all these different tests and things on the internet, and then they can be sucked into believing that various things are true, and that's not always the case. I mean, you've got to be very careful what information you come across, especially when it comes to things like hormones and various other sort of things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, totally agree. Well, you've got our backing. I believe that you should be in places like Tesco's and what have you not, and people should be able to readily.
Yeah, I mean, I think in all honesty, Lucy, it will happen, and we won't give up until it happens. I think providing the trans community continue supporting the magazine by making sure that it's viable to keep the magazine going, then it will, continue for as long as really it's needed. Obviously in recent years we have lost some sister publications purely through lack of support from the community, and obviously we're pleased that Transliving is still going quite strong, but we need the support in order to continue.
No, well, we'll keep supporting you, and hopefully everyone else will. And if you drop us some links and stuff, we'll get them onto our Twitter page. Let everyone know exactly how they can get hold of the magazine, whether it be digital or the hard copy. You've also got.
And obviously, if anybody wants to be in the magazine, then we always welcome contributions, whether it's photo shoots, general lifestyle stories, articles, fashion tips, makeup tips, product reviews, book reviews. If you've got something to say, then get in contact and we'll get you published.
There you go, perfect for the community, and plenty of community people can get involved with it as well, as little or as much as they want.
We have partners, as you know. We have partners that contribute to the magazine. People could do general event reports. Anything really that people feel, are of interest to the trans community, get in contact with me and we'll see what we can do.
Brilliant. Well, we'll obviously put all your links on our Twitter, and people will be able to hear this and hear the interview as well. This will be on YouTube, so hopefully they can look you up. Just while we mention that, what are your how do people get in contact with you via Twitter or Facebook?
Right, on Facebook, you've got my personal page, Shane Marcus. You've also got various Transliving pages. We've got the open like page, and we've also got the closed private members page for extra discretion and confidentiality. On Twitter, our handle's at Transliving1, and if you go to Instagram, we're on there as Transliving Magazine.
Okay, brilliant. Well, we'll obviously put all them links onto ours as well, so hopefully...
And also, of course, we've got our main website, transliving.co.uk.
Okay, and that's where people can order the magazine, etc.
They can order the magazine. There's some information on there. There's also various companies that advertise in the magazine. We place all their adverts on because it's people that are, advertising their services, whether it be makeup, dressing services, various specialised items, and also, of course, our weekend events that we're doing, Bournemouth and Eastbourne, are available to book online through the website.
Okay, now you've mentioned it, we might as well have a bit more information because we was going to move on to that. So, yes, the events that you have down in Eastbourne. Do you want to tell people about that?
Yes, March this year saw us at our 10th anniversary down in Eastbourne, and Mark 2 of the 10th anniversary will be taking place in October this year. There are rooms still available. It's a weekend event, Friday to Monday, so 3 nights. You get your bed and breakfast included, obviously, and entertainment. Throughout the daytime, we have trade stalls, so we have people selling various products, whether it be wigs, breast forms, gas, shapewear, makeup artists, private photo shoots, and around about 100 to 20, 150 trans people all together exclusively in one hotel that we hire. And it's a real good party weekend, social weekend. Lots of partners, wives and girlfriends come along. We've also had in the past mums come along, so it's very family friendly. And yeah, it's just really a support social weekend, but obviously with a real good party atmosphere to it, because there's a disco every evening. Once a year in the March with the big annual Miss Transliving International pageant. We have various different themes that are optional in the evening for those that want to dress and take part in little fun competitions. Because of some of these weekends, it's an opportunity that some people get to be them real selves. You know, it's an escapism for them. They can come along, they can be with like-minded people, they can relax, they can be themselves, not have to worry about being found out. They can have 3 old days being who they, feel that they are or who they want to be.
No, it's amazing. Well, there you go. You've got a great weekend away should you want it, and all the details will be on the Transliving websites and the Facebook page, etc. So if you...
Yeah, it's everywhere. I think if you put Transliving into Google, I think we've pretty much come up here, there and everywhere anyway.
No, it's brilliant. Well, it sounds like a fabulous weekend away. Now, you've obviously got the support group. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that before we go?
Yes, and the magazine is really an offshoot of the support group. I mean, the support group was the original conception of Transliving, social events, years back in the early days when it was Trans Essex. It was members meeting up in each other's homes and having, coffee mornings and things like that. Then there was a venue hired, and there was a disco area and a full-on disco event. And the disco party sort of social events still run now, sort of 38 years on, once a month. They're held in the Essex area of Brentwood. We also have the helpline, which we still get calls every single day from trans people, partners, family members, doctors, psychiatrists, all sorts really. And, the support is still very much needed by lots of people. I know everybody says all times have changed. Yes, indeed they have, but there are still, believe me, lots of people that feel they're the only one. They think they're doing something wrong. Only the other day we took a call from someone who asked if it was illegal to go out dressed. They're so closeted. It's still happening. And of course, the hate crime, we act as an hate crime agency. People, they want to call us in confidence because they are too scared to maybe approach the police. They can call us and we can, maybe speak to the police on their behalf, put them in contact with their local hate crime officer. Transliving's done lots of work over the years with the health authorities and housing and the police. In actual fact, it was Transliving that helped with changing the way the passport laws and everything was changed many years ago with the Home Office.
Oh, that's amazing. Well, I've gone through that service myself, so I thank you for everything that you've done to make that possible. Just like to thank you while we got you online for everything that you do. I think the magazine's great. The support group's amazing. Sounds really good, and think that everything you do is really totally amazing. And also like to thank you as well for offering some subscriptions to the magazine, which is another way some people can get hold of the magazines, because we run a few competitions. We've still got a few more competitions in the pipeline where people can win a year's subscription to Transliving, which is just totally amazing and a fabulous prize. Going to ask you, are you going to be at Sparkle this year?
Yes, we'll be at Sparkle. We will be in the park with our gazebo and our store giving away free copies of the magazine. So if you can't receive anything in the post, you're not lucky enough to win one of the Trans Radio competitions, then come and see me in the park on the Saturday and grab yourself a free copy anyway.
There you go. So if you haven't seen what the magazine is all about, you can get yourself a free copy at Sparkle. Go and say hello to Shane. I myself will be popping along to say hello to you guys. And I'd like to thank you again for your time tonight to come and let us all know about your fabulous magazine and services.
You're welcome, Lucy.
Okay, well, she'll speak to you soon. Thank you very much, Shane.
Okay, thanks very much, Lucy.
No worries.
Thank
all
you.
the best. See you now. Cheers.
Yeah,
Bye-bye.
bye. Bye.
There we go. Shane from Transliving. Great magazine, great service. So make sure that you guys keep supporting them. As I say, if you're at Sparkle, go and grab yourself a copy if you've not seen it, and you can see what it's all about, and hopefully you'll go along and subscribe. Please stay tuned tonight. We're going to shortly have a little quiz, which will be the first chance for somebody to get themselves up and in the running to win a £120 voucher at Angel Wicks.
Hit music. Your radio, your station. Playing hits 24 hours a day.
This is my station.
Transradio.co.uk. This is transradio.co.uk. Get social with us at Transradio UK on Twitter and Facebook.